So, what is it again? Wait, I forgot. Oh, right! Absent-mindedness. Have you ever experienced the time when you entered in a room because you need to get your ball pen, but when you got there, you suddenly forgot what you're supposed to get? You know that you need something, that's why you went there, but you stopped, asking yourself, wait, why am I here again? I know that I need something here, but I forgot. This happened to me a lot of times already. Just recently, I remembered. I was sitting in a car and I placed my eyeglass at the back of the seat. And then a few minutes later, I've been looking for my eyeglass at the back of the seat, but it wasn't there. So I looked anywhere inside the car, but it was not there. So I asked my siblings if they know where my eyeglass is. Then I was so confused why they were laughing at me while I was so serious looking for my eyeglass. And then they told me that it was on my head. And so I started laughing and laughing about what happened. It was funny, right? We find ourselves in these situations more frequently than we like to admit. This is what we call absent-mindedness. It is a cognitive bias in which there is failure to attend to a task, resulting in mistakes and forgetful behavior, particularly when two tasks are being attempted simultaneously. This is one of Sketcher's 7 scenes of memory. You know, this has a lot to do with how and where we direct our attention. But you know, absent-mindedness is what we must give attention to and must be avoided. What if you were driving and then you divide your attention? You're scrolling to your phone while driving. Then accident happened because you are unable to attend to both tasks adequately. You will be in great risks of meeting an accident or even death when you are absent-minded. According to Barry and District News Reporter 2019, absent-minded drivers are the most common cause of road accidents in the Vale, which cause 54 accidents. This is called attention lapse-induced alienation. It is a phenomenon that occurs when a person makes a mistake while absent-minded. So, why do we experience absent-mindedness and how does it happen? As I have said earlier, this has a lot to do with how and where we direct our attention. Absent-mindedness relates directly to lapses in attention. So now, let's talk first about our attention. Psychologists define attention as the ability to actively process specific information in the environment while tuning out other details. As you all know, our attention is limited in terms of its capacity and duration. So it is important to have ways to effectively manage the attentional resources we have available in order to make sense of the world. In the theory of Fisher and Hood, 1987, it suggests that when our limited attentional resources is occupied, the rate of absent-mindedness may increase. This means that when you are looking for your phone while driving and you pay less attention to your surrounding, you might end up bumping on a tree or bumping to another car. So, now that we know the relationship of absent-mindedness and our attention, that a low level of attention or intense attention to a single object of focus that makes a person oblivious to events around him or her, and when our conscious processing is focused on something other than the task at hand, or your thoughts are preoccupied with something like thinking about something else that you became inattentive to your immediate surroundings, it causes absent-mindedness. So now, how about the relationship of absent-mindedness and our memory? In the book Cognitive Psychology by Robert and Karen Sternberg, it was stressed that to encode information from our sensory store to our short-term memory, attention is much needed and it plays an important role in our memory. Why? Since our sensory store has very limited capacity and duration, which decays or degrades very quickly, typically in the region of 200 to 500 milliseconds, that is about 1/5 to 1/2 second after the perception of an item, and certainly less than a second, the information will not be stored in a long period. This is according to the Human Memory 2020. And so, if you didn't pay much attention to the information, it will be lost easily. If you did not pay attention to where you put your keys, then it is more likely that you will forget where you placed it. But if you successfully encoded the information, it will be transferred to your short-term memory, and when rehearsed, it will eventually transfer to your long-term memory, and so you are more likely to remember where you place your keys or where you put your keys. To sum up, often we find ourselves doing more than one thing at a time. You are listening to your teacher's discussion while watching K-drama or scrolling to your phone. Although we believe ourselves to be talented multitaskers, the human brain is not wired to direct full attention to more than one task at a time. As a result, errors occur whether they are conscious or not. Now that you know how absent-mindedness occurs, let's talk about how we can avoid being an absent-minded person and start to be more attentive. First, you have to stay focused and practice mindfulness. The reason why we become absent-minded is because we lack focus and attention. So you need to pay attention to everything that happens within you and around you in the present moment. Focus and concentrate to what you are doing, and set aside any thoughts or things that might distract you from being attentive. Next, you have to stop doing multitasks or stop multitasking. If you believe that multitasking will give you more benefit, no. Trying to accomplish several tasks at a time may prevent you from focusing well on each task. This can lead to making errors and mistakes. Do things one at a time. It is better and more efficient than trying to carry out several tasks at a time simultaneously. Next, stop daydreaming. A 2018 study conducted by Arid Insurance points to daydreaming as the #1 distraction for drivers, with cell phone in second place. According to the study, 61% of the 17,200 fatal car crashes involving distracted driving during the past 5 years had something to do with a driver that was daydreaming or lost in thought. And because drivers are daydreaming, they become absent-minded to their surroundings, which lead to accidents. So, stop daydreaming and be mindful to your surroundings. Fourth, get enough rest at night. We know that lack of sleep can weaken your focus and attention, which leads to being absent-minded to what you are doing. So be sure that you get an adequate sleep, at least 6 to 8 hours. And last, get some exercise. According to a cognitive neuropsychologist, Dr. Ashraf Jansari, physical exercise has a great effect on your cognition. It keeps your body healthy and improves circulation, which means your brain is able to get fresh oxygen more quickly. A study in the University of Georgia found that doing as little as 20 minutes of aerobic exercise a day is enough to improve mental function. So, now that you know about absent-mindedness, the next time that you're going to enter a room looking for something only to discover that you have forgotten what you're seeking, you will now have an aha moment where you will say, aha! I know this. This is called absent-mindedness. And now you know what to do and how to avoid being an absent-minded. Bye-bye!